Hey, hi, how are ya? I always get so nervous in these videos. I never know how to open them. My name's Victoria Bedford and I'm a spiritual teacher aiming to bring awareness to you in healing in all its understanding. Healing from childhood trauma, healing from toxic families, healing from the things that you have been through so that it can lead you to have a life that just feels as if it has some purpose or meaning. In this video, I am going to be talking about a behaviour of a narcissistic parent, partner or friend called the dog whistle. How this behaviour is done, how it affects you and how to deal with it. I know firsthand how this behaviour impacts after having my parents do this, well, pretty much for the whole time that I was in contact with them. Go over to the video. So, welcome. What is the dog whistle from a narcissistic person? Well, this is something that greatly impacted my life. It impacted me for so many years and I didn't even know it was occurring. It made me feel mental. It made me feel like I was losing the plot, like I was the problem, and like I didn't know how to deal with it. So the dog whistle behaviour from a narcissistic person is a behaviour where they will consistently say things and do things in front of other people, in social situations, in family environments that belittle, shame, or make you feel sad, make you feel like, why has that just been said? Why would that person that I love mock me or laugh at me or raise that? And this is how they covertly abuse you. They will say and do something that you know is detrimental, is triggering, is painful. But other people won't. Other people will see it as a joke. Other people will see it as just a passing comment, because only you know the weight of what that person is saying. Meaning the narcissistic person is saying something that is personal, that they know is something you have a weakness in or something that you are sensitive to. And what this will lead you to do is this will lead you to react. Whether you overreact or underreact, meaning you will shout out, you will get angry, and then you will be labelled the problem. Or you shut away and you isolate. Either or, you will always be labelled the problem. And everyone else that has witnessed that or been a part of that situation will not understand why you're being like that. In my life growing up, this was one of the biggest behaviours that made me feel like I was crazy and mental. Around other family members and in social settings, my mum and dad would belittle me. They would say things of a personal nature. They would say things about my weight. They would say things about my mental health. And then I got upset, they would label it a joke. Well, you're so sensitive. What a drama queen. And everyone else around them believed the narrative that I was a drama queen. Well, that was only a passing comment. They only meant it as a joke. But the problem you have with that is the person that's doing it, the narcissist, will know that that is something that affects you. They will know that they are using your buttons to push, and they will know that they are stepping into your sensitive areas. But they'll also want you to react in a way that shows that you are the problem and not them. When I was growing up, I can recall a core memory. I was nearly 18, 17, and I'd not long ago lost my virginity, left that partner and met somebody else. And this is when I first started to notice that this was happening, like something was happening that didn't feel right. I had my boyfriend to sleep over when my mum and dad weren't there. And when they come back and they see my boyfriend, my dad presented him with a certificate of achievement. A certificate in the fact he survived a night with me. Now, bearing in mind to my dad, to other people who are laughing at this joke, it seems pretty funny. But to an 18-year-old person who I suffered mental health, low self-esteem, didn't lose virginity until later on, struggled with boyfriends and had recently come out of a really turbulent partnership with a previous partner at 17. And it felt wrong, like I was being laughed at. When I approached my dad about this, he told me I was being pathetic, that I should get over it, I'm a drama queen. And then these situations started to happen more and more and more around family members. Oh, you're the one with the bad mental health, you're the one that needs all the support. And would be mocking me and everyone would laugh. And the thing is, how a narcissist will do this is they will likely do it to the black sheep. They will likely do it to the one who has the unregulated emotions, the one that sees through the bullshit and the drama, the one that tries to call things out, and the one that knows things are wrong. This doesn't mean that the other siblings don't know things are wrong, but the other siblings are more in a space and a role of wanting to please that parent, wanting to do anything they can to be loved, the golden child, the people pleaser. They want to fulfill their role. With the black sheep, knows the role is not what they want to feel. They know that something's off. They know that the person or the parents are behaving in ways that are extremely detrimental. Because I would call it out. I would say to them on the side, that really hurt what you said there. And I would try to talk to them about how I was feeling so that I didn't blow up. And I was just consistently dismissed and told to shut up and be quiet and get over it. You're not part of this family because you're so weak-minded. And then I would blow up, and then I'd blow up, and when I blew up, I was the problem. I'll leave her, she's always creating drama. And then when I'd shut myself away and I'd isolate, and it's, I'll leave her. She only bothers with people when she wants something. As a black sheep, you're never going to fulfill anything that the parent, you're never going to please the parent. And they, as you get older, they can't abuse you in the same way of hitting you or isolating you from family members because you no longer live at home. They no longer have that sense of control over you that they once had. So they have to change how they abuse you. They have to change how they feel their power. And remember, if you're a victim, you aren't powerful enough to leave the fold. You're not powerful enough to really fight what's going on or really set boundaries. You're just the victim. You feel the victim, you behave the victim, and then everyone else can say that you're the problem. So they want you in this space because every toxic family needs a scapegoat. They need that direction that one child is the problem. Because if they don't have that direction, then the parents will be looked at as the problem. They have to reflect on their own behaviours, and they'd have to reflect on what they think and feel. And because narcissists have an inability to be self-aware and to reflect or to feel empathy, they have to find the sources of their discontentment. They have to find the source of why they feel the anger that they feel, because they're so wounded from their own childhoods that they don't understand where it's coming from. So they have to seek and create a source. And that source is the scapegoat. Now, you can't outrightly abuse a scapegoat, can you? You can't outrightly abuse someone in front of people because then everybody would see. A narcissist has a false sense of self. They have a fragile ego. They don't want people to think they're anything less than nice and perfect. Or they don't want people to think they're anything less than a good person. So they can't outrightly abuse you, because by doing that, they will show who they really are. And half the time, they don't know that they are abusing you in the sense that they want to keep you small. They want to keep you the problem, because while you are the problem, while you are behaving this way, well, they don't have to look anywhere else because you're the problem. And that's why they will give lots of attention to the golden child, because the golden child is the one that gives them the sense of validation, the sense of love and nurturing, even though they feel all the same toxic feelings. They have found a way to get their need met by being who the parent wants them to be. So by being who the parent wants them to be, when a narcissist is covertly abusing you, which means it's under the radar, it's done so subtly that only you will know that what they mean by what they say. You won't necessarily know you're being abused because it's normal. It was normal to me. When my parents did that, I just thought they were very insensitive, and it led me to hate them. And that's why I got so angry and pulled away, and then tried to love them, because I was battling so much hate, because I could never understand how you could hurt the very person you're raising and supposed to love. Because as a scapegoat, they can see through the facade, they can see through the mask of the narcissist to some extent. You don't know it's narcissism, you don't know it's abuse, you just know it doesn't feel right. Because as a scapegoat, you've got you've got more senses that are connected to what it is you're feeling and aware of. So they will do it in a way that everyone else takes it at face value. Because guess what? Those people that are fulfilling roles around them have to take it at face value, because if they don't, then they have to face uncomfortable feelings of how toxic things really are. So they have to look at things at face value and not look deeply into anything. And because it's not directly happening to them, they again don't have to experience it on that level to reflect on what's really going on and what it means. This will send the person it's happening to crazy. Because without validation that something's happening, you doubt your reality. You believe you're the crazy one. You believe, am I just oversensitive? Am I the messed up one? Is it my fault? Maybe if I try harder to be more resilient, maybe if I just bat it off. But you can never change how you feel about the things that are going on. Doesn't matter how much you deny them. Doesn't matter how much... Sorry, I'm going to need a drink of water. I normally try and cut it for things like this, but I'm just bringing it raw to you. I look at all these other YouTubes and think how professional they look, and I just think, I can't live a life of trying to be such a perfectionist. So I'm having to bring it to you raw. You will know that it feels wrong. You will know that, and I always think that's why my throat is going like this, because as a spiritual talker and as a spiritual teacher, your throat chakra is one of the most blocked chakras that happens when you start speaking your truth. And I believe that that's probably why it's happening now. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll see it happens a lot. As soon as I start speaking, I start getting a really dry throat. Because I've spent so many years not speaking my truth. Because that's how much it makes you doubt your reality. It makes you believe that you are the problem. And I spent so many years saying nothing, because every time I did, I was told I was the problem. My reality was doubted. And there's only so long this can happen. There's only so many years you can go through this experience without feeling like you're crazy. Because it leads you to doubt everything and anything that happens. Because it's almost like, well, if I'm that sensitive then maybe I'm just the problem. And this is how a narcissist really gets their claws into you and really disempowers you, because what they do is this underlying abuse is just disempowering you and chipping at you bit after bit, so that you just appease them. You feel that you're the problem. You meet their need of being the problem. And they don't want you to get better, because if you get better, well, that means they've got no source. When I started to get better, my parents didn't want to know. And this is what had to lead to no contact, because they kept consistently trying to pull me back into the roles that I once played and they play. Because they could not, their ego, their narcissism could not get their source met of anywhere else being the problem. It would actually have to mean that as a narcissist, they'd have to sit there and reflect on their own behaviour. Because if I got better and there was no source for them to look at the problem, they'd have to sit with their own stuff. They'd have to focus on their own detrimental behaviours. And a narcissist cannot do that. A narcissist can never take accountability unless they own that they're a narcissist. A narcissist can never ever say sorry with true, genuine feelings. A narcissist can never validate your experience, because they have had to create such a false sense of self, because they have had to learn at some point in their life to be perfect, because that's the only way that they're going to get love. And instead of challenging that narrative as they've got older, they've just become more wounded. So they don't have the ability to reflect on what part they play in the things that go wrong. So when I started to get better, of course my parents didn't want to know. And that's why the majority of time you end up having to go no contact with a narcissistic parent, because there is no way you're able to change the roles that you are assigned from that narcissistic parent, because they don't want that. They might allow you to be the golden child at some point, but then you have to witness them put somebody else in the scapegoat role. And by you being that golden child, you have to lose who you are, because you have to please them. You have to not say how you feel, not share your truths. Oh, you'll be allowed to share them shallowly, as if you're having an in-depth conversation. But anything that could potentially trigger them into believing that they weren't good enough, they will shut you right down. So it doesn't matter whether you're a golden child, you have to lose a sense of self. Now, if you've ever been a scapegoat, that means that you see things clearly. That means you see things for what they are. So you could never be the golden child, because you would know that that's the role you're playing. You would know that you're having to lose who you are to meet the need of them. So the abuse would just continue in another way. It would continue in you having to appease them, be quiet for them, put on a facade, pretend that they are amazing. And you will actually convince yourself that they are amazing, because you are their supply. So if you are the golden child as a supply, they will make you feel like you're the best child, because you prove to them that it's not them that's bad as a parent, it was the scapegoat who walked away. So then that sibling doesn't have much contact with the scapegoat, because they're getting their source of need met from the love of their parents they've never had. It's not true love. It's love with conditions. The condition that you're going to play the role of the golden child. The condition that you're going to play the role of appeasing me, of making me feel that I'm amazing, making me feel that I am the best parent out there, that even though I'm wounded, I'm a good parent. And they have to pretend or change their reality, and they have to blame somebody too. Because if they didn't blame the scapegoat too, that golden child would have to look at their own behaviours. They too would have to look at what role they're playing and what they're denying. And this is how the cycle of abuse happens in toxic childhoods with narcissistic parents. And the likelihood of you meeting a narcissistic partner is extremely high when you've had a narcissistic parent, because you will vibrate at the vibration that you've been raised in, and you will radiate to narcissistic people because you've been a victim. And they will smell a victim out a mile off. And you will appease that narcissistic partner because you're trying to heal the wound you didn't appease with your parent. Recognizing that your parent is covertly abusing you is really important. Because for so many years, when I did not recognize that that was abuse, And I normalised it because it was normal to me and my upbringing. I stayed in deep mental health. Trusted nobody. Pulled in extremely unhealthy people. And it wasn't until I started to heal and I started to recognise what was healthy did I realise that healthy parents don't seek to belittle their children. Not regularly. It may happen because we're human. But no parent seeks to consistently do something that they know the child is hurt by. When a child goes to a healthy parent and tells them that something has hurt them, that healthy parent will seek to change that behaviour, because through love and understanding they want to be a healthy parent. A healthy parent would never want to shame a child. Yes, it may happen because we're human again. But if a child expresses to you, or an adult expresses to you, that the behaviours that you are displaying are affecting them, a healthy parent would seek to work with you to help you and to help themselves change them. A healthy parent wouldn't see siblings arguing and bickering and fighting against each other and seeking to be the top dog in the family. A healthy parent wants siblings to navigate their way forward. Understanding that all siblings are different. You may not have the closest bond, but you don't have to be detrimental in that bond. You don't have to fight for attention, because a healthy parent will equal, where they can, attention between children. So siblings do not have to fight and vie for it. Some siblings naturally pull away and some siblings naturally get closer. But a parent will never seek to pit off against each other's siblings. Recognising that abuse isn't just something that's so outward. We don't always get to label what abuse is because it's been normalised for so long. I never believed I was abused growing up, and it wasn't until I started a healing journey after my breakdown did I realise how abused I was, even sexually, and that's how much I suppressed abuse. So again, when you can understand that that is a role that a parent or a narcissistic person is playing, where they are abusing you but under the radar, you have to seek to understand how to change that. How to change either your reactions to it, how you're allowing it to affect you, trying to build some resilience to it. Ultimately, where I would say we go no contact, but I understand that that is not, that's an ideal situation. Unfortunately, not everyone has the ideal situation and the ability to go no contact. But if you are in those situations, limiting the contact with that person, if you can't limit the contact with your person or that person, trying to build some resilience to the fact of when they are doing what they are doing, it is about them and not you. Trying to process how you feel and validate that what they're doing is not okay. But I do want to say to you, the longer we're in an environment like that, and the longer we normalise an environment like that, the more unhealthy we become, because we can't grow and be the healthy person we want to be if we consistently re-traumatise ourselves in the environments that traumatised us. I'm hoping to bring some awareness and to some light to these situations, because this was a normal thing for me for so long, and I just thought I was crazy. So being able to validate and understand my experience of the fact that I'm not crazy, and the fact that actually this is trauma and it was wounding, and that was one small baton of abuse that I experienced, and it knocks and chips away at you. It knocks your self-esteem. It challenges your sense of reality. And when you are consistently challenged with your reality, you start to accept way more than you'll ever accept in your whole life. If you want to understand a bit more about me, or you want to look at some of my other videos, then do have a look at some of my other videos about healing and how we grow. Also, there is meditations on my page. These meditations are there because as we heal Healing our energy is just as vital as it is to work with our psychology and to work with changing behaviours. If you only change behaviours and you only work in your brain and you don't seek to start to work with your body and energy, your traumas will just stay trapped, continuing to lead you through depression and anxiety and disconnection. So even if you've never meditated before, just listen to the words, feel the vibration. Let's start this journey of healing, knowing that you are worthy and you deserve a life greater than the life you was initially given.